you guys heading back down to Australia. How are you guys feeling about being out on the road once again and being able to head back to Oz?
It's so terrible. I remember when they sent us the email, we were like, no, no, ugh, gross. Australians are like Canadians. They're just mean. And that Australia, imagine if you cut this up so it sounds like it's real. No, I mean, we said yes immediately. We're like, yes. It's great. Hailstorm's great. So, I mean, and it's just such a great package. Like us in Hailstorm, like I think that's a not to be missed show. It's going to be good. So yeah, we're pumped. And that's the first tour actually of the new record cycle. So we wanted to go. Where can we go first and foremost on the new album 8? It's Australia and New Zealand.
And after the events of the last couple of years, how does it feel being able to get back out there and do shows? Because I'll admit, there's a different feeling here in Australia at shows now. It shows that we've had music taken away from us for nearly 3 years, and the animals have been let out of the cage again.
Yeah, it was weird at first. It was really weird. It felt like almost like a post-apocalyptic kind of feel where you go on tour and you're like, you weren't sure if you're supposed to be there or not. Like, what's going to happen? People going to show up? And now it just feels like, like I blinked and 2 years went by. It's the weirdest thing. I talk to people and I'm like, remember we went to that thing? They're like, yeah, when was that? I'm like, oh, I'm like 2 years ago. They're like, no, dude. No, it was like 5 years ago. I'm like, what? Like I just can't handle it. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But it feels back to normal now. Like we go on stage and I look at all the fans and you're right. They are just so happy to be out and around people, and it's everything is okay again for them to scream and shout song lyrics. It's awesome.
Going deeper than that, though, for me personally, I found that I've felt now that I should never ever take live music for granted again. I think I'm in my 40s and I've been going to live shows since I was 13. So for so many years, it was just that's what happens every week. You go to a couple of shows every week and then it was taken away. I don't think I'll ever take that for granted again now.
Yeah, well, we're spoiled, right?
Yeah.
We joked about that. When we came out and started touring again, we're like, oh, we're never going to take this for granted. Every day is a blessing, and then didn't last long before we started bitching and complaining about some. Hey, where's my milk I ordered on the rider? Where's my oat milk? Yeah, it's but we are spoiled, and so it is nice to have things taken away in a sense to realize how lucky we are, for sure.
So, how did you spend that time when you were off the road? Did you spend it just kind of recharging the batteries, or did you find that your creative side went into overdrive like some bands have discovered? How did you spend that time?
No, I wasn't creative at all. I think I was talking to one of our old producers, Howard Benson, and me and him were kind of talking about the same thing, and he noticed, he says, you know what, I think a lot of bands are they're not very creative because they're not really sure of the future. That, we weren't really sure, well, why make music if we don't know if we can never perform songs live ever. So it felt weird. It felt almost like you were stifled creatively. At least I was. I know there were some bands that released music, but I didn't do much, man. I woke up every day like wondering when it was going to be over.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird. It was like being in jail. It was weird.
Now, I want to bring it back to the tour because this is going to be an absolutely fantastic tour. But what have you guys got planned for your Australian fans? Because it's been a while since you guys have been here. So what have you got in store for them with these shows?
I'm going to try to learn as much Australian lingo as possible, so I look really stupid and embarrassing when I'm on stage. No, I mean, there's not much we can really do other than we've only been there once before. So I think we're just going to play our hits. We're going to play the songs that they want to hear. I mean, I think I'm going to go out and hang out with some peeps. I know you guys do not like Foster's. That's crap down there. It's a joke.
Yep.
Right? Like the stereotype of that's like Outback Steakhouse in America. That's not Australia.
I reckon Foster's is the greatest joke that we've ever managed to play on the world. It's like you go to the UK and every single pub there has Foster's labelled as an Australian beer, and it's like, are you kidding? We don't even drink that piss here. It's like it's the greatest joke we've ever pulled on the rest of the world. That and drop bears.
Oh, dude! Like even the motto for Foster's is Australian for beer. Yeah, that's their motto. And I'm like, man, and I take a sip, and I'm like, this is what Australia tastes like.
But like, it's so bad. You go to any local bar or pub here in Melbourne, where I am, and you don't even see Foster's on tap. It's not even that. It's like nobody drinks it. It's not even available.
No.
So.
It's like Outback Steakhouse. It's a facade. Well, what is a good beer, Australian beer then? Is there something like, do you guys like, what do you drink down there?
Yeah, so I'd say if you're in Melbourne, you've got to go for a Furphy or a Great Northern.
Furphy?
Or a Great Northern.
Okay.
Yep. If you're in Tasmania, you can drink the beer of the gods down there. It's called Cascade, and it is the absolute best beer in the world, I reckon. So,
wow. I think last time we played down, we didn't play Tasmania, but we had some fans come from Tasmania. So maybe they'll come to the show again, and maybe they can bring us some of that beer of the gods.
Yeah. Look, Tasmania, to me, has the best beer in Australia. They've got two great beers, James Bogue and Cascade. And the reason I think they have the best beer is because they have the best water in the world. I didn't realize this until I did a brewery tour a couple of years ago. The taste of a beer, a lot of the time, comes down to the water that's being used. And Tasmania has the clearest water in the world. So it makes sense that they have the best beer in the world.
Yeah, I would assume. I mean, it's pretty untainted down there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So
now I'm gonna have to get some.
But you guys have got so many fans here in Australia. I can remember back to when I was working on a television show at the time. It was 2005, and you had a new album coming out, Gasoline, and your publicist raced into our office and said, "You guys have got to have a listen to this band. I need this on air this week." And I listened to it and just instantly fell in love with it. And I think a lot of Aussies did the same thing at that time. Are you aware of your fan base here in Australia and how many people here love you?
No. No one ever tells us anything nice anymore. No, that's awesome. It's nice to hear that. So that means we're going to have to play some stuff off Gasoline then.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. But like, I think that was just the start of the love affair. I think the funny bit was, like, you guys already had such a fan base here before Medicate came out. And then Medicate came out and the commercial networks picked it up and it was like, hey, you've got to listen to this brand new band. And it's like, brand new band? People have been listening to this for a long time before you guys discovered it. So it was kind of like a weird second awakening.
Yeah, it was. We were definitely happy that RX happened, but it sounds so different than the rest of our stuff. I think that's also why it was very fresh sounding. But yeah, it was. It definitely picked up some new fans. We definitely went to some new locations from Medicaid, which was really cool. But that doesn't happen a lot. But yeah, it's always nice to hear. Yeah, we don't know. No one tells us anything. That's going to be great when we go down there. We're going to have to go hang out with some fans.
Does it feel like 20 years for you? Like, when you go back and look over your career, does it feel like that you've been doing this now with Theory for 20 years? Because so many bands come and go these days. Not very many bands reach that 20-year mark.
Yeah, it does and it doesn't. It goes so fast, but at the same time, like, when you look at stuff like 8 albums and you look at the amount of work that we put into this just the making the records, but also the schedules, like the traveling, touring, thousands of shows. It does feel like 20 years, but yeah, I mean, we're impressed with ourselves. The 20-year mark is pretty cool. I talk about it on stage now every night because we're proud of that. We're proud that we actually are probably closer now than we ever have been as a 4-piece, and we enjoy it more now. I guess maybe because we've gotten past all of that insecurity that a lot of bands have, wondering, where we're going to be in 20 years. Now we know.
Yeah.
So we can all just relax and enjoy it and go to places like Australia and drink Foster's beer.
Was that something that you thought about back then, though? Like, if someone had said to you 20 years ago that you guys would still be together and as strong as ever 20 years later, what would you have said to them?
It would be a surprise. I mean, the beginning was it was tough. It was very rigorous. We got beat up. Remember, we were on tour for 4 months straight before we went home. It was just gross. We all had girlfriends and stuff, and it was not good for relationships. A lot of us became single. I don't think we would have believed you. I think we would have been like, I don't know. But hindsight is 20/20. So now that we look back, it's like, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah.
And the other thing too, as you said, you haven't been to Australia that many times. So what do you do for the set list when you come here this time around? You've got almost 20 years worth of tracks to go back over and plan with. So what do you do for a set list?
We're going to have to play everything twice as fast, I think. We're going to have to play like 1 minute of every song. Yeah, I don't know. Like we're in the opening slot, so I'm thinking we get 45 minutes. 9 songs. Maybe we'll get another. Maybe we can eke out another 5 minutes. 10 songs. It's gonna. I mean, that's almost one song a record. Like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. It's a good problem to have. I think what we'll probably do is research from some fans what they want to hear. Check out some streaming and just play people the songs they want to hear. And there's no need for deep cuts, unfortunately, with this shorter tour. Yeah.
And you've got the new album as well. Tell us a little bit about the new album. What can we expect on this new album, and how do you feel now that it's about to come out?
So we're all super excited because a lot of these songs are now about a year old. I think we started tracking in April, so by the time this album comes out, it'll be almost a year since we actually started recording it. So it takes so long, but I mean, it rocks a lot more than the last 2 records. This one definitely is back to more of the Scars, Souvenirs, even kind of Gasoline sound, to be honest. There's one song that's almost like a country song, and then there's some stuff that's like definitely fun Scars, like Bad Girlfriend style, fun rock songs. So, yeah, but I think our fans are going to be really pleasantly surprised with this one. It really does feel like a record we could have made 10, 15 years ago.
And do you still get nervous before you have an album coming out, or is it now more about excitement and getting new music out there to the fans?
It's a bit of both. It is always nerve-wracking because you are creating something that is for the masses. If it was just for ourselves, I think that we would just be so everything is so cathartic. We would just be so like, oh, this is great. Let's share it with some people. But it is a product. We are on a major label, so there is some pressure for it to do well. Unfortunately, that is the one part of our jobs that can sometimes be a little nerve-wracking. So yeah, I mean, it's good to be nervous. You should be. It's important. It's important to us. So, we want to impress people. We want people to be like, wow, that sounds really great. So we'll see. Ask me in February.
Definitely. Well, mate, I know we are running out of time, and I don't want to keep you over time. So I just want to say again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. And is there anything you want to say to your fans out there before they rush out and get tickets for this tour?
I would say get them fast because I think one show is sold out already. So I would say get the tickets because they are going to sell out. And you know what? Other than that, just it's gonna be great for all of us to be in a room together it's going to be such an awesome show, not to be missed.
Definitely. Well, mate, we'll let you go. But again, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an honour having you on the show, and we'll see you in Melbourne very, very soon.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much.